Welcome to Mystery Date. This show was created first and foremost for entertainment purposes. While we do our best to research our topics, nothing discussed on this show should be taken as absolute fact. Opinions, theories, and interpretations are just that. Listener judgment is encouraged.
Beneath the Art Deco ballrooms of the RMS Queen Mary lies a steel-plated paradox, a luxury icon that became a gray ghost of war. Since retiring to Long Beach in 1967, this 81,000-ton vessel has transformed from a record-breaking liner into a permanent mausoleum for the souls who met their end within her hull. From a young crewman crushed in the engine room to the hundreds of sailors lost in a tragic wartime collision. Tonight, we're stepping off the gangway and into the shadows of a ship that refuses to go quiet. We're diving into the dark, salt-crusted history of the most haunted ship in the world, the RMS Queen Mary.
I'm Christian.
I'm Kate.
Welcome to Mystery Date. It's date night, meaning we get to talk about all things mysterious and weird.
This season is called A Haunting, and it involves all sorts of paranormal and ghostly mysteries in our world.
Tonight's mystery is all about the RMS Queen Mary.
Get comfy, grab your favorite drink, and let's start the show.
Taking it easy for Sunday, Easter morning. We're not going too hard yet.
Yeah, just some juice.
We might have some drinks at dinner.
I'm sure we'll have a little mimosas or something.
If you're wondering, a little confused because you've been following the show and you're like, well, you guys aren't religious, so what are you doing for Easter dinner? Our family was religious, and Kate comes from a
I was
Catholic
raised in a
so-
Christian Catholic, semi-adjacent Catholic. It was mostly like Baptist, Lutheran type of stuff. But yeah, I was raised pretty Christian. I don't go to church anymore, and I'm not really sure what I believe in, as we've kind of discussed on this show. But I still love my family. I still have respect for people who have religions. And if my parents are like, hey, it's Christmas, come over for dinner, or hey, it's Easter, come over for dinner, I'm going to go over for dinner and hang out with my parents.
I mean, hell yeah. Really, it's just an excuse to hang out with family.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, I love doing that. So.
Yeah, I'm like, we're going to go have dinner and play some board games, and I'm sure my dad will pray, and that'll be that. Like,
it'll be good food.
That's Easter for us, and that's good.
And that's good.
We have a good time anyway.
So I hope you're having a good Easter if you celebrate. If you don't, I hope you have a good Sunday morning.
Yeah, although you're listening to this the Friday after Easter, probably. Maybe even
way after.
Maybe even several weeks after Easter.
Yeah,
but
we're bulk recording right now, so... You know,
yeah,
we just dated ourselves.
Time travelers.
That's what it is, exactly. Before we jump into it, I just want to say that if you like the show and you like learning about mysteries and other conspiracies of the sorts, be sure to follow us, like the episode, share with one of your friends, do whatever you can to spread the word of Mystery Date, because the more people that listen, the more we can do awesome things with this show and the more we can spread our little family.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. What do you know about the Queen Mary?
Not much. I know it's a ship. I know it's got haunted stories attached. And I think that's about it.
That's probably the surface level stuff that I feel like most people know about. So that's good going into the episode.
Yeah, I'm like, I know I've heard of it, but I don't even really remember in what context I've heard of it. Like, how did I learn about it? I don't know. But I'm like,
Probably
yeah, it sounds familiar enough. Like, yeah, the haunted ship Queen Mary, I've heard of that. I don't know anything else, though.
You might have heard about it in history class. I feel like we had a brief. I mean, it might have just been our history teacher was a nerd for this kind of stuff, but I feel like...
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't want to give any names. I was about to drop a name. I feel like one of our history teachers, you know who I'm talking about, was pretty into the World War II stuff, so we got a pretty in-depth lesson into the ships that were civilian ships that were then pulled into the war, and this was one of them. So
yeah. That was probably it.
To talk about the countless hauntings reported in the Queen Mary, we must first dive into the rich history that surrounds this vessel. When the Queen Mary was first commissioned to be built, the world was a vastly different place. Steel titans and shipping companies ruled the seas and waged war with one another, inside law and engineering offices, of course. The 1930s were considered the golden age of the ocean liner, and this is evident in the amount of competition that was in the market. So take a second to think about it. This was after the Titanic, and people are still flocking to these massive ships simply because it was the only safe way to cross the ocean. All that flair and fancy of the Titanic hadn't gone away either, and neither did the floating class system of the time. These liners were essentially massive social experiments when it came to the diversification of different economic classes. You had the ultra-wealthy and first-class Art Deco suites, and thousands of immigrants or lower-income travelers in the steerage or third-class cabins, typically below deck. With the popularity of these ships comes a mudslide of technological advancements in seafaring devices and vessels. The main goal of the competition between shipbuilders was speed. If you could get passengers across the Atlantic faster than the other guys, then your ship was the obvious choice. An unofficial yet prestigious title and award at this time was called the Blue Riband. It was given to the fastest passenger liner that set the record for the fastest average speed during a regular transatlantic crossing.
Really ironic that not only the Titanic tragedy happened, and then people are still like, well, we're still going to go on these cruise liners. Because like you said, it's like, well, I mean, that's the only way to really travel across the ocean in these days. They didn't have commercial planes all the time yet. Like that wasn't, you had the ships. So it's like, all right, if you needed to cross the ocean, that was the way to do it. So I understand them not going away. But the fact that it's still like almost a tourist thing for some people, and they're still leaning so hard into the luxury, and then they're still like, go faster. The fastest person wins. And it's like, bro, that was the number one mistake that the Titanic made, is that they were too hasty.
Oh yeah, and they kept just building them bigger and bigger. Like these ships at this time are dwarfing what the Titanic was already. And we're only in like the 30s when this really starts.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if you guys, we have, but I don't know if you've ever seen those comparisons of like the Titanic versus today's cruise ships, but that does track that they've just only ever gotten bigger from then.
So really no lessons were learned. And they went full steam ahead.
All right.
Pardon the pun. The Blue Riband was the best advertisement a company could have. Travelers wanted to be on the fastest, most modern ships available, just like today, minus the speed part, honestly.
Yeah, people aren't really using cruise ships for travel so much as they are for vacation these days.
Yeah.
So they're more about the leisure or the destination than they are about the speed.
I don't think you're taking a transatlantic crossing being like, well, I have a business meeting in London that I have to get to.
Yeah, like
so I'm gonna book a cruise.
Most people in time constraint situations are gonna be flying.
Yeah, you're gonna take a plane.
Yeah, or you would know your time constraint enough to just book a cruise early enough. Like
honestly, you can
things these days are so planned out, and there's so many options that I don't really see that being an issue. Speed is not a thing people look for in cruising anymore.
No, you can honestly replace speed with like size. People are looking for the larger ships, the bigger ships. What do they have on them? Like
the more amenities. So again, the luxury part still hasn't gone away.
No.
The class system is different, but also still kind of there.
Yeah, you do feel it a little bit when you cruise. I'm not going to lie. Even on like the commercial cruise lines like Royal Caribbean or Carnival.
Yeah, you've got your interior lower deck rooms, and then you have like your nice ocean view or balconies, and then they've got these suite systems, and there's a whole hierarchy within the suites too. So it's get a membership and rewards. It is a little bit like the old class system. It's just modernized.
Yeah.
They don't keep you segregated in weird ways anymore.
Kind of they do though with the like suite area.
They got some private VIP lounges.
Yes, you know what I'm talking about? Like
shit, man, we really have never learned anything from history.
Before the Queen Mary, this title was held by two sister ships made in Germany. They were made in 1929 and 1930. It was the Bremen and the Europa. They were passenger liners set to sail on their maiden journeys.
I feel like I've heard of the Europa before, too.
You might have. I mean, these were both pretty famous ships at the time, and I'm pretty sure both of them got roped in the war, so.
Look, I remember more from history class than I thought I would. It's just all out of context in here.
Someone's got to jog your memory.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I've heard of that. I couldn't tell you the details, but I've heard of that.
That sounds familiar. My brain is like, Jesus? Yeah, that sounds familiar. What did he do? Each of these German ships were awarded the blue ribbon at the time of their maiden sailings. This is specifically what led to the two British companies, the White Star Line and Cunard, to create their own modern and, more importantly, faster ocean liners. I want you to think about that one company.
I was just about to say, did you say White Star Line?
Yes, the White Star Line. Very prominent company still.
Uh-huh. Of course. Yeah, one major tragedy that would be down in history for the rest of forever to remember. Of course, that's not going to take out a big corporation.
Just wait till the end to reveal. It might not even take till the end, but in a little bit, I'll reveal something that I think might blow your mind.
Damn White Star Line.
Because, like, what if I told you they're still technically around today in a very popular...
They are. They've just rebranded. It's all PR, baby. It's all nepotism.
Both of these British companies' plans got shut down quickly when the Great Depression hit and work halted on the Cunard ship. Simply named at the time Hull number 534. Around December 1931, Cunard applied to the British government for a loan to complete 534, and the government said yes, but on one condition. Cunard had to merge with the White Star Line, which was also struggling at the time and had canceled their planned liner, Oceanic. Both lines agreed, and on May 10, 1934, the Cunard White Star Line was formed. Work on 534 would begin immediately and had a launch scheduled for fall 1934. Only a few months later after they got this all together. So they were that close to finishing it before they were like, we have no money.
Oh my gosh.
On September 26, 1934, Her Majesty Queen Mary launched the ship known still as Hull 534 and named her RMS Queen Mary. The ship was so massive for the time that prior to the launch, the Clyde River had to be deepened and widened to cope with its size. Yeah, that was a whole side project they had to undergo. They brought in engineers. It took months.
So they were like
pretty much a lot of the side project while the ship was being built was, well, we have to widen the river.
They're like, we're going to build the best, biggest, fastest ship. Unfortunately, we want to build it bigger than the water will allow. So first, we're going to man-make this river a little bit.
You got to do what you got to do to get it out there.
And everybody, the whole city is just like, yep, sounds good. If it's good for your brand.
And here's a picture of it being constructed. I mean, even for today's standards, like back then, that's massive. Could you imagine watching that being built in your backyard?
Yeah, even today, like, it's probably like nothing compared to modern cruise ship size, but still being next to smaller ships today is still overwhelming.
Yeah.
If you're not used to being around ships every day. They're huge. And especially back then with all those cranes and things, it's like that probably felt high tech at the time.
Oh, yeah.
It was like,
I mean,
what
fucking
the
shit.
hell is that?
When you tell me that this was built in 1931, like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
I wonder how many people, I didn't even look into it, and I probably should have. I wonder how many people died during the construction. I don't think there's actually even
like
released numbers.
It's like when you think about them building the Empire State Building and stuff like that. It's like,
yeah. Which I do think there are numbers for the Empire State Building that you can look up. But I don't think for the Queen Mary.
They had some crazy methods, and like same with the ships. They're like, we have to have the biggest and the fastest. All the buildings were like, we have to make it the biggest, the tallest. Like, and it was like, you guys, this is dangerous. Like,
Yeah,
maybe develop the tech first instead of finding it along the way as you lose people.
Well, and then I don't want to shit on anybody, but you have a lot of people that are like, man, back in those days, we got it done. And it's like, yeah. People died.
People died.
Like a lot of people died.
Yeah. Sorry we put like human safety and well-being at a higher priority these days.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, our bad.
Now, I don't know how true this next part is. I've found several sources linking to it, but it just sounds so ridiculous that I'm not too sure if I want to take it at face value. There are claims that Cunard intended to launch the ship with the name Victoria, which held up a tradition of naming their ships ending with an IA. But when the company reps asked King George if they could name the ship after Britain's greatest queen, he said yes, his wife Mary would be delighted. So there was no going back at that point. What's even funnier about this is there was already an old steamer ship named TS Queen Mary, so Cunard had to make an arrangement with its owners to have that older ship renamed to Queen Mary II, which would then later be given the name of the replacement for the RMS Queen Mary. It's all very stupid and confusing. But basically, they wanted to name it Victoria, went to the queen and were like, hey, can we name this after the greatest queen ever, Victoria? And he's like, yeah, my wife Mary would love if it was named after her.
Yeah, they're like, can we name it after your greatest queen in history? Meaning Victoria. And he's like, oh my gosh, you mean my wife? And they're like, fuck. We can't say no.
We can't tell the king
It's
no.
the king, and he's very excited. So yeah, of course we meant Mary.
And then they had to go fucking to the
Yeah, and then
steamer
they're like,
ship.
shit, this is already copyright somewhere. All right, fucking red tape.
And then I'm sure the steamer ship was out of commission. But then you have the Queen Mary 2, which replaced the RMS Queen Mary.
I mean, that all sounds pretty legit to me.
And again, this is all happening in the 1930s. The Depression is going on.
Business be business.
After the launch of the ship, she would continue to be worked on for another 2 years, and on May 27, 1936, the Queen Mary sailed on her maiden voyage from Southampton to New York. She arrived in New York Harbor on June 1st, 1936. She wouldn't quite capture the blue ribbon from the French ship the Normandy till August of the same year, where she was declared the fastest ocean liner in the business, the exact goal sought out by engineers nearly 6 years earlier. After years of sailing as a passenger ship, in late August 1939, the Queen Mary was returning to Southampton from New York when, due to fears of German U-boats and the brink of war, she was escorted by the military ship HMS Hood. This was the first time this had happened in her service.
That's kind of a dope name.
HMS Hood?
The Hood.
Yeah, it looks badass too. I'll actually show you the Queen Mary first, and then I'll show you the Hood, because it does show the differences. Like, you can see the similarities of how they're building these ships, but the differences in like their utility of it. Like, clearly this one isn't like to carry passengers, but this one has been fitted to fight.
Yeah, okay.
But that's the Queen Mary.
Yeah, it looks exactly like the Titanic. I think all old ships look like the Titanic to a point, at least like those passenger ships. Like, you could put all of them in a lineup from 1900 to like 1940. And I could tell you the difference of if it's a warship or a passenger ship. But all the passenger ships, I wouldn't be able to tell you which one's the Titanic, which one's the Britannica, which one's the Queen Mary. Like, I wouldn't know the fucking difference. They all look the same.
Look, it's the Titanic.
No.
It sank 20 years ago.
Look, it's the replica. Not quite.
Not quite. I mean, kind of.
The inside, my dear, is different.
I mean, again, you do still have the White Star Line, so I'm sure a lot of these companies are sharing designs and blueprints. So.
I mean, it does. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, modern cruise ships all have, like, each brand has their shape and vibe. They all look the same. So
that's the HMS Hood.
Oh yeah, that one does look like a warship though.
But you see what I'm talking about in the structure? Like, you can see how they're building it.
Of
yeah, of the bow and the hull. Yeah,
is like the same. It's just what's going on up top or how many decks it has that really changes.
Could you imagine being on that ship though, and for the first time, like, you hear whisperings of war, and then all of a sudden, coming back home, you see a military ship start escorting you? And you're a passenger.
That'd be freaky.
Especially if you're in steerage. Nobody's telling you why.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on. Even if you're in upper class.
I mean, honestly, yeah.
It's all PR. They keep that shit under wraps. You seen those modern cruise documentaries about COVID or about poop cruise? Like, they weren't telling the people the truth. They were telling people as little vague information as possible until their hand was forced to tell them more.
Yeah, you're right. I feel like everyone on that ship was probably just like, what the hell is going on?
People were getting information by connecting to Wi-Fi at the nearest port or passing ship so that they could go online and find out for themselves because they weren't being told shit.
I mean, yeah, back then, think about it. You went on with whispers of U-boats, which are crazy for the time. Submarines? That's unheard of in practical use of war.
Well, and there's probably plenty of steerage people who don't even know what that means.
Yes.
They're like, German U-boats? Like, I don't, okay.
Yeah, well, how is that a worry? And then
like,
again,
is that a threat? Is that bad? What is that? Is it a lot? Is it a little?
Nice Rick and Morty reference there. After being escorted by HMS Hood, she set out again to New York on September 1st, and by the time she had arrived, war had been declared, and she was ordered to remain in port alongside the same French ship she beat years earlier, the Normandy. Eventually, Queen Mary's running mate, Queen Elizabeth, would arrive and would be ported in New York alongside the other 2 vessels. That meant that for 2 weeks, the 3 largest liners in the world sat idle, which I have a picture of that, of all 3 of them in the harbor.
Yeah, and they all look the same.
I think the French ship looks a little different.
The French ship's a little bit more rounded.
Yeah.
And the other ones are more of that sleek, pointed
That's
shape.
true, yeah. That's probably what gave them the speed.
Other than that, like, that's the only difference.
Yeah, they do. They all look very similar. When World War II broke out in 1939, the Queen Mary was stripped of her velvet curtains, fine china, and crystal chandeliers. Replaced by tiered wooden bunks and anti-aircraft guns, she was painted a stark naval gray, earning her the nickname the Gray Ghost. Her speed was her greatest weapon. She was so fast she could outrun Nazi U-boats, leading to Adolf Hitler to famously offer a $250,000 bounty and the Iron Cross to any U-boat captain who could sink her.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she earned a reputation. She didn't just go to war and was used for nothing. Like, this ship was...
Damn. She's like the government's Black Pearl.
Yeah, kinda. I like that, yeah.
The Gray Ghost whose speed is unmatchable. Like, sounds like an awesome adventure story.
I mean, it probably was at the time, to be honest. Like, Jesus.
Oh, yeah. People coming home from this trip, the tales they told their grandchildren.
Yes. Oh, my God. If for some reason we reach anybody that has been told any of these tales, we'd love to hear the interesting stories that were told from this.
Yeah. Dude, I wish I had, like, cool stories from my grandparents. I don't
know shit. At her peak, she set the world record by carrying 16,082 American troops on a single voyage, a mass of humanity so dense that soldiers had to sleep in shifts in order to have enough beds.
I was going to say, that sounds like a lot of people.
Think about how many people are on Icon of the Seas. 10,000.
How many did you say?
16,082 American troops. That's the troops. You still have probably some crew.
You still have crew and the
or
captain.
Some British people.
Or, yeah.
That's insane.
How does that even make sense? Because then, like, you're packed in there so tight. Like,
that's why they had to sleep in shifts. You literally had people being like, all right, I'll swap out the bunk, man. Go on.
Yeah,
I'll go up to the upper
sleep,
decks.
Change, get ready in the bathrooms. We'll be eating, cleaning, and on watch duty or whatever.
Yep. That's crazy. The ship's wartime service was legendary, but it was marred by a haunting tragedy in 1942. While zigzagging to avoid torpedoes off the coast of Ireland, which, pause, Jesus Christ, holy fuck, I just picture that for a moment already, painting the scene.
I was just about to say, this keeps getting better and better. Now there's torpedoes from Ireland? What part of World War II was that? I missed that lesson.
Well, they weren't from Ireland. It was off the coast.
It was just, okay.
That would be wild.
That's why I was over here like jaw agape. I'm like, oh my God, when was Ireland firing torpedoes? What did I miss?
At one point, Ireland was like, you know what? Fuck it. We want independence finally. They kind of did do that, but that's later on. I don't think, no, they didn't use torpedoes. I don't think Ireland had submarines. They might have. If they did, please correct me, but I don't think they did.
Yeah, maybe at least not in this time.
Yeah, no, well, yeah.
Yeah, today they probably have the same shit everybody else has, but...
While she's zigzagging, avoiding these torpedoes off the coast of Ireland, the Queen Mary accidentally collided with her own escort ship, the HMS Curaçao. The massive liner sliced the smaller cruiser clean in half. Because of strict orders never to stop for fear of submarine attacks, the Queen Mary was forced to steam ahead, leaving over 300 men to drown in the icy Atlantic.
Holy shit.
The ship plowed through another ship, split it in half, and then because of orders, they just had to keep going. And that was their escort ship.
Dude, like, how are there not more movies about this ship? This would be such an awesome war movie.
There might be a movie about this tragedy. I'm not too sure. I'd have to look into that.
But not even just specifically about that tragedy, like about this whole story just so far. It just keeps getting more and more like adventurous sounding. I'm like, this is some Hollywood shit. Like, this is a good story.
Well, and remember, this ship was just built to be fast and carry people across the Atlantic.
Yeah, now they've got it
Fighting torpedoes.
and dodging and cutting its own escorts in half. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, rest in peace to those 300 men. Jesus Christ.
Oh, God, that would have been so horrific. And, like,
yeah,
the people on the Queen Mary are just, like, watching, and they're just like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Icy waters, too.
Bye.
I mean, to this day, many psychics and visitors claim the sounds of rushing water and metal tearing can still be heard in the extreme front of the ship's hull, a ghostly reminder of this tragedy. After the war...
After the war, I went back to New York.
She did return to New York, and I have a picture of that.
Yeah, she literally, after the war, went back to New York.
Yep.
But did she practice law, and did Burr work next door?
I think Burr was dead by this point.
Yeah, it was a couple hundred.
Yeah, a few years.
Yeah.
A few years have passed.
A little bit.
After the war, the ship was meticulously restored to her former Art Deco glory and returned to passenger service in 1947.
That was quick.
Yeah, the Curacao tragedy happened in 42.
Yeah.
5 years later, you got
They
people...
bring it home, the war's over, they clean it up a little bit, repaint it, put some curtains back in, and are like, all right, boys, sell them tickets.
Like that ship plowed through another ship. I just feel like maybe you decommission it or just keep it for war service.
Yeah, like keep it for emergencies. Like
I don't think people should be sailing on that anymore.
It's kind of a bad omen. Like
That's what I'm saying.
If anything else, like if nothing else, I think it's at least a bad omen and maybe a little disrespectful. It's like, dude, people died. This ship murdered people, essentially.
I mean, honestly, I can't say for sure this is all an allegation, but some of that allure to the morbid curiosity might have played into it, because for the next decade, she was the it ship for the Hollywood royalty and the heads of state.
That helped them sell even more tickets.
Probably.
I mean, I guess I'm over here like, oh, you monsters, but like we literally go ghost hunting to places. So it's me. I'm the monster.
Yeah, we would do the same thing. I pay money to. I want to pay money to go visit this.
Yeah, dude, I get it.
However, the 1950s brought a new predator for the Queen Mary: the jet engine. As transatlantic flights became faster and more affordable, the Grande Dames of the sea began to bleed money. By 1967, facing massive losses, the Cunard Line decided to retire the Queen Mary. On October 31st, 1967, fittingly on Halloween, the Queen Mary departed Southampton for the last time. She embarked on a 39-day last great cruise around Cape Horn, as she was too large to fit through the Panama Canal at the time.
Yeah, and they were like, we're not widening another river for you.
No, you're retiring. When she finally arrived in Long Beach, California, on December 9th, she was greeted by a fleet of thousands of small boats and a DC-9 jet. Her boilers were shut down for the last time, ending an era of maritime history and beginning her second life as a permanent landmark and, as many believe, a permanent home for the spirits that never checked out. So that's the main history before we get into the ghost stuff. I know that was kind of a long lead up, but I think a lot of that is important to know the energy that is behind this ship going into this.
Yeah, and that was a dope story. So even if we haven't gotten to the ghosts yet, it's like, dude, check out this ship. Holy crap. I'm telling you, they need to be making more movies about this.
I got to look in to see if there's, I think the Curacao tragedy has a movie, but you're right. Like, someone should cover just the life of this boat.
Yeah, I'm like, they made a movie about
ship,
that.
not boat.
They made a movie about that one ship that got taken over by the little pirate boat.
Captain Phillips.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, if Captain Phillips gets a movie, where's my Queen Mary? RMS Queen Mary adventure movie.
Come on, Sony. I'll sell you the script. I'll write it. The transition from a record-breaking marvel of engineering to a permanent fixture of the Long Beach shoreline is where the Queen Mary's history begins to bleed into the supernatural. For over 30 years, she was a vessel of extreme human experiences. from the opulent celebrations of the Hollywood elite to the cramped, gray-painted desperation of wartime troop transport. This dense accumulation of emotional energy, combined with the officially recorded tragedies of those who never made it to their destination, has left behind a psychic wake that many believe still ripples through the ship today. You like that? I like that line. We're both writers, so.
Look, I love puns and alliterations and all kinds of shit like that.
As we move from the cold facts of the ship's logs into the darker corners of her hull, we find that the most enduring residents of the Queen Mary aren't the tourists in the staterooms, but the spirits tethered to the very moments that defined her legendary past. The transition of the Queen Mary from a retired ocean liner to a world-renowned haunted destination didn't happen overnight. It was a slow burn of maritime rumors that exploded into the public consciousness through media coverage and a bit of corporate showmanship. When the ship first arrived in Long Beach on December 9, 1967, it was celebrated as a historical monument, not a ghost ship. However, as soon as the massive vessel was opened for conversion into a hotel and museum, the stories began to leak out from the people who spent the most time in its belly: the night security guards and the maintenance crews. The first reports come in the late 1960s, when a security guard famously reported that his German Shepherd refused to enter Shaft Alley, which was near door 13, reacting to a presence that wasn't there. And this is in the lower areas of the ship. So you got this guy walking with his dog, and apparently I know you feel about that already.
Yeah, we've talked about it before with horror movies and stuff. I'm like, look, if the dog won't enter the house, there's something up with that house.
Burn it down.
If the dog doesn't trust someone, I am now suspicious of that someone. Like, dogs know. Dogs can sense this shit.
Another incident was in 1966, just before retirement. A female passenger in stateroom B340 reported a man standing at the foot of her bed who vanished into thin air. This became one of the first civilian accounts to gain a more internal traction among the crew. The 1980s marked the era when the Queen Mary's paranormal reputation went mainstream, largely thanks to the rise of televised paranormal investigations. In the 1980s, the ship was actually managed by the Disney Corporation.
I mean, it makes sense. It was a tourist attraction by that point, so...
Yeah, why not? Buy it up.
They're already in California. They got Anaheim on lock, so...
Well, and that was a time when Disney was trying to be like, fuck every competitor. We are just going to do what they do. So then when you come to California or Florida, you don't need to go to their places. You can just go to a Disney place because we own it.
We have it all.
So of course they bought a museum. While historians note that some of the more gory legends, like the supposed triple murder in B340, may have been exaggerated by staff to drum up interest for a haunted mansion style experience.
God, a triple murder?
Again, these are compounding legends. That's why I'm not...
I thought she just seen a ghost man for a second.
That's the firsthand incident. The triple
Okay.
murder, these are the legends that are now being built on it. It's like, oh, well, that happened in B340, but did you hear that there was a triple murder in there too? Like, these are now
maybe she
secondhand.
saw the killer.
Yeah.
Okay, they're creating lore now for what they know.
The first incident was just, that was a civilian account of someone telling the crew, like, this is what I saw.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But yeah, some say that the more gory legends may have been exaggerated by the staff to drum up interest for a more haunted mansion style experience with the ship. This marketing inadvertently solidified the ship's status as a paranormal hotspot in the eyes of the public. During this time, high-profile psychics, including Peter James, who spent years documenting the residents of the ship, began conducting public tours and seances. James is credited with discovering and naming many of the famous ghosts, such as Jackie in the Pool and the Lady in White. Because, of course, they all have names.
Yeah, you gotta name the ghosts. And there's always a lady in white.
Oh, always a lady.
Or a lady in black.
A lady in waiting.
A lady in gray. There's always a lady with her veiled dress.
The Queen Mary is the lady in gray.
Yeah, she's the gray ghost.
Yes. In the 1990s, the Queen Mary had become a staple of paranormal pop culture. The ship was featured on major programs like Unsolved Mysteries and Sightings, which brought the stories of John Petter and Officer Stark to millions of viewers. In the 2000s, the debut of Ghost Hunters, or TAPS, and Ghost Adventures featured the ship in high-profile episodes, using modern technology like EMF meters and thermal cameras to verify the legends that had been told for decades. Today, the hauntings are so central to the ship's identity that haunted encounter tours are among its most popular attractions, turning a century of tragedy into a permanent part of California folklore. So to understand why the ship remains so active today, we have to look past the general spookiness and into the individual lives and deaths of the souls who are still reported to be walking their decks. The first one we're going to talk about, you heard me mention him earlier, you might have been like, who the fuck is that? Is John Petter, the young man of door 13. On July 10th, 1966, 18-year-old crewman John Petter, sometimes referred to as Half-Hatch Harry, was working as a fireman/cleaner during a routine watertight door drill. He was caught and crushed by watertight door number 13 in the engine room's shaft alley around 3:55 a.m. It's the same area where that dog didn't want to go in. He was found shortly after by a refrigeration greaser, with the only visible sign of trauma being a small amount of blood from his nose, though he had turned blue from the lack of oxygen. He was pronounced dead upon arrival at the ship's hospital. Petter is one of the ship's most frequently seen ghosts. Guests and guides report a young bearded man in white boiler suits or blue overalls pacing the starboard side of Shaft Alley. He is often described as looking for a wrench, likely the one he used to operate the manual door that killed him. Some visitors have even reported finding greasy handprints near the door where he died.
Yikes. Oh, I got goosebumps.
Yeah, that one's that one's kind of creepy. And again, remember, we can go visit this place and stay the night.
Yeah.
You might have a different vibe going into this one. You can too. Anyone can go visit this place. We'll link the website in the episode description for everybody, but you can book a room and stay the night. Not even for haunted stuff, just
yeah, I mean, you said it's like half hotel, half museum.
Yeah. Another ghost we're going to talk about is William Eric Stark, the poisoned officer. Born in 1918, William Eric Stark was a senior second officer on the Queen Mary. On September 18th, 1949, when the ship was in port, Stark was looking for a drink and was accidentally handed a bottle of gin that had been used to store carbon tetrahydrochloride, a toxic cleaning fluid.
Yep, just keep it in the gin bottle. Nobody drinks that shit anyway, so it'll be good. Don't label it or anything.
Yeah, I probably butchered the name too. I think it's just tetrachloride, but Jesus Christ. It was a long name. But yeah, just keep it in the gin bottle. Why not?
Seems like a pretty big miscite.
Yeah, especially since somebody died. Thinking it was a gin and tonic, he took a drink and he initially laughed off the mistake. But the poison had caused severe internal damage, and he died 5 days later on September 23rd, 1949, at the age of 30. So he didn't even think anything was going to happen. Like, he knew his mistake.
He took a sip and went, oh shit, I think I put the wrong bottle of gin in here. That's funny. All right, I'll be fine. Go throw up. I'll feel better, you know? But like, that was it. It was poison in your body. Your organs just slowly start shutting down.
That's terrible.
Yikes. Dude, in both of these deaths so far, it's not like somebody just died of natural causes or like even like because it was a time of war. These are like tragedy.
Yeah.
Very sudden, unexpected death situations.
Stark's spirit is said to maintain an internal watch over the ship. He is often reported in the captain's quarters and on the bridge. Witnesses describe a heavy scent of cigar smoke or the sound of someone coughing and choking, believed to be an echo of his final painful days. The next ghost we're going to talk about is Jackie Torin, or the girl in the pool. While ship logs are notoriously difficult to track for child passengers, during the 1930s and 40s, legend states that a young girl named Jacqueline Jackie Torin drowned in the second-class swimming pool, now the site of the Royal Theatre. Jackie is described as an intelligent haunting because she appears to interact with investigators. For decades, guests have reported hearing a little girl's giggling, singing, and splashing in the now drained pool area. Some claim to see wet footprints appearing on the deck when no one is present, and paranormal teams have captured EVPs of a child's voice calling out for her parents.
Yikes, dude, these are all creepy. I keep getting goosebumps.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm happy. The goosebumps are good. I hope you're getting goosebumps too, listener.
Dude.
Next one we're going to talk about, we've already kind of hinted at, but they're known as the residual screams. Like we know, on October 2nd, 1942, the Queen Mary was performing a zigzag maneuver to avoid U-boats when it accidentally collided with its escort, the HMS Curaçao. The massive liner, like we said, sliced the smaller ship in half and was forced to continue on in submarine-infested waters. 338 men drowned in the Atlantic because of this. This is considered a residual haunting, meaning it's a psychic imprint of a past event rather than an interactive ghost. In the extreme front of the hull, the point of impact, visitors report hearing the sounds of rushing water, metal tearing, and the muffled screams of men in the distance.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
That one I really believe.
Yeah, I'm like,
because all of that event is so powerful.
Yeah.
The last one we're going to talk about, and there's many more you can find, so if you're enjoying this coverage of the Queen Mary, please look more into her, because there are a lot of resident ghosts on this ship. These are just some of the most famous ones, but the last one is known as the Eternal Captain, Captain John Treasure Jones. What a badass name.
Yeah. Oh my God. This is what I'm telling you. Like, this story sounds like a freaking adventure book. Like National Treasure.
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones. Freaking Treasure Island.
That's why.
War stories. Like, come on.
That's why
How are there not a bunch of movies?
That's why when I was writing this episode, I was like, man, is this too historical? Like, I feel like this is just a lot of info dump. But the more I wrote, I'm like, no, this is like a story, like a full move. This should be told.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, this just keeps getting, like, the plot thickens at every turn.
So Captain John Treasure Jones, let's learn about him. Captain Jones was the man who commanded the Queen Mary on her final 1000th crossing and her retirement voyage to Long Beach in 1967. He lived a long life after retirement and died in England in 1993 at the age of 87. Though he did not die on the ship, many believe that his energy returned to the vessel he loved most. Guests have reported seeing a man in a vintage captain's uniform in the elevators or on the bridge. He is often described as a calm, dignified presence who stares out at the Long Beach harbor as if he's still at the helm. I like that one too. Guy dies, but goes back to
Soul returns to his ship. Now bring me that horizon.
Yeah.
Like,
just so poetic.
I told you, it's like the Army's Black Pearl. He was their Captain Jack.
That might have to be
Captain Jones.
Captain Jones. That might have to be the tagline for the episode. Britain's Black Pearl.
Yes. Britain's real life Black Pearl.
Yeah. People will be like, what the hell? I've never heard that comparison.
Am I wrong?
That's the thing. The RMS Queen Mary is a paradox. A monument to human achievement that became a mausoleum for human tragedy. She was the fastest thing on the Atlantic and a gray ghost of war, but with that much history packed into 1,000 feet of steel, the ship's true weight isn't measured in tons. It's measured in the stories of those who never checked out. Whether it's the residual echoes of the 338 men lost with the HMS Curaçao, the tragic mistake of Officer Stark, or the lonely pacing of John Petter, the Queen Mary serves as a permanent anchor for the past. Skeptics point to groaning pipes and infrasound, yet for those who have felt the tug on their sleeve or seen a vintage boiler suit vanish into the bulkhead, the ship is more than a hotel. The mystery isn't just if she is haunted, but why these spirits remain. Perhaps the sheer volume of concentrated emotion, the fear of war, and the shock of accident burned a permanent imprint into the iron. The engines have long since gone cold, but the ship continues to hum with a different kind of energy. The Queen Mary was built to bridge two worlds across an ocean. Now she bridges the gap between the living and the dead. And as long as she remains afloat, the Grey Ghost will continue to be a place where history doesn't just rest, it speaks. So, do you think the Queen Mary's haunted?
I think it might be. I think it definitely has some residual stuff behind, because you can't have that much adventure and history and loss and war in one vessel, especially like it's 1,000 feet long. Yeah, it's big for the times, but it's only so big. You can't have that much happen and that many people and that many lives lost and all that in one spot without something sticking around and leaving a little bit of an imprint or an echo. So I think there's at least residual hauntings going on. I'm not sure about the interactive ghost spirits. That's something I would have to investigate for myself. I'm kind of a skeptic until I have my own firsthand account, and then I believe. But the residual shit, for sure. Did you hear that story? Queen Mary is carrying some shit.
I think Queen Mary is haunted. Definitely, like you said, residually. But if you believe in intelligent spirits, I think this would be a great place to go investigate and try to find something. And I would love to do that. Like, share, and subscribe.
And I just remembered you said some investigators actually did get the voice of the little girl on tape and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I really might believe that this one is a true haunting.
I would not doubt it. Out of everything we've covered, it may seem odd if you see this episode in our lineup and you're like, the Queen Mary haunting. What the hell? But I think by the end of this episode, you'll all agree that this place has something.
I mean, yeah, this one, most of our haunting stories kind of end with do you think it was haunted or do you think it was a hoax? This one, there's no question of hoaxes. No one was really trying to convince anyone else that it was haunted.
You could argue the Disney at that era, there was maybe some gain, but still.
Yeah, but it's for the most part, it just holds a lot of history and a lot of energy, and the people have spoken for themselves about the experiences and things they've seen there. So, yeah, I mean, I believe it.
Well, there you go. I think we have the first one of the season that we think just fully is haunted. The RMS Queen Mary. And like I said, you can go visit. We can go visit. Maybe one day we will. We'll have a link down in the description if you want to go book a hotel stay there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's so cool that they do that. And I think it would be so... I'm a history nerd, again, if you haven't picked that up yet, but it'd be so cool to go on that ship and just see and be on that.
We'll do a whole California excursion one day.
Yes, because we got another episode coming up.
We'll do a whole California adventure journey one day, and we'll hit a bunch of stuff out there, spooky and otherwise.
Well, yeah, and it's cool. Gotta go by the Hollywood sign.
I mean, yeah, you have to do some touristy shit and some just checking out local shit, and then obviously we have to do our spooky shit.
That's the story of the RMS Queen Mary. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed researching this episode. Like I said, I'm a big history buff, especially when it comes to World War II. So it was very fun for me. Especially, I'm not shitting on this season or anything, but a lot of this season has just been a haunted house in the 70s. So there's not much history to go. I'm learning about an individual family. I'm basically doing ancestral heritage. Not
little biographies.
This was cool because I'm learning about a lot of history. But with that, we'll move on to our date night debrief, which, again, if you're joining us for the first time for this episode, is just where we relax from the episode and take a moment to debrief. And we also learn a little bit about each other. This is the date section.
Yes. We've had our mystery. Now it's time for our date.
So my question of today is pretty relevant to the story, actually. But would you go on the Queen Mary if it offered sailings today? So it wasn't just a hotel that you could stay at, but they restored it.
Probably it would depend on how long. I don't think I would take a transatlantic sailing.
A 7-day full,
no, I don't think I would take I don't think I would take a crossing the ocean type sailing, but a 3-day cruise, you go somewhere that's not that far. Maybe even don't stop at destinations. You just kind of go up and down the coast of California or something.
Would be cool.
That would be nice. you just stop at different piers along Cali's border. Like,
could you imagine being at like Cabo or like a Mexican port and you see like an
and you see the
old-ass
RMS Queen Mary pulls up next to these modern ass cruise ships. No, I would definitely go on it if it was still sailing, especially if they had like you said, they refurbished it. They made sure it's good to sail.
Yeah, it's not like they just.
Yeah,
no,
they're not just gonna be like, all right, tomorrow we're going out. Who wants to join? Hasn't sailed in a very long time, but
might go poorly.
If it was ready to sail, like, I would totally go. I just, like I said, don't think I would want to take it like to the other side of the world.
I want to show you real quick. I think it's relevant, and I'll probably add this in the episode too at some point. But the Queen Mary 2.
Oh yeah, isn't that the smaller steamboat that it stole the name of?
No, I don't care about that one. I don't think I can find you a picture of that steamboat.
So at some point that steamboat was decommissioned and they got to take Queen Mary 2 back again.
Yeah.
Okay.
A steamboat at that time is already...
Well, listen, you said Queen Mary 2. That's the one I was familiar with from earlier in the story. So I thought that's what you meant.
No, I just mean the follow-up to the Queen Mary.
The successor.
Because I think it shows the blend between
It looks like a Disney cruise.
Yes, but you can see...
But you can see the Titanic.
Right?
Ooh, yeah. That's like if Disney made the Titanic. That is a very good-looking blend between modern and older cruise.
I like the trail off there. I'm keeping that in. Between modern and older cruise. It's early in the morning. We normally record in the evening.
I didn't have coffee.
Yeah. It's an older.
I was trying to think of a word for, like, because I said modern, and I was trying to think of like what's
a parallel good.
Yeah, like what's the opposite of modern? And I'm like, it's not like classical like that. So like I just couldn't find the word I was looking for. I don't know if there really is one. So. Oh, now I'm crying.
Oh, and actually, another image that the Pris probably won't make it in the episode, but I think is cool, is the two met.
The two Queen Marys?
Yep. On February 2nd, 2026, actually.
Holy shit, that was like 2 months ago.
There they are in harbor next to each other.
Wow. They look pretty similar. It's funny to see them next to each other, too, because it's like when I first saw it, I'm like, wow, now it's starting to look like Disney. But then you put them next to each other, and it's like, nope, I still see it. They're still the same.
Yeah. I just thought those are cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Isn't that neat?
Do you have any free talk or updates you want to fill anyone in on? We finished Righteous Gemstones.
We did. That show was really funny.
Yeah.
It was very, very entertaining. Highly recommend.
10 out of 10.
No, I think only thing, like you said earlier, we're starting to do more batch recording because our wedding season is coming up for photography and videography, and we're going to start to be busier and busier with that on our weekends and editing after work on those projects instead of editing podcast episodes. So we gotta stock up now so that you don't have to miss us.
Also, we're already more than halfway through season 2.
Yeah, I was just about to say, and then before you know it, season 3 will be starting.
I just realized that when you were talking, I'm like, we're on episode 4. This will be 14. Holy crap. Yeah, we're more than halfway through with season 2 already.
Yeah. So thanks for sticking around this long, guys.
We appreciate it. I don't think I have too much free talk. The only thing I do want to say is I'm starting to work on a short that I think should be pretty fun and in the mystery date theme. It's not going to be attached to mystery date like the brand in any sort of way.
No, but it's mysterious.
Yeah,
it's fun and mysterious. It's a little bit comedic. It's a little bit fucked up. Like, it's fun. I like it.
Yeah, so I'm going to start working on that soon. Kate will be in it along with her father. So I'll share that on our socials and you guys will be able to keep a lookout for that because hopefully you'll like it. But other than that, I think that's about it. So thank you so much for joining us, and be sure to come back every week for a brand new mystery and a brand new episode.
We hope you enjoyed today's story and mystery, and don't forget you can send us your own episode ideas or love letters or answer our questions, give us your own opinions and comments and ghost stories, anything you want. Just reach out. Our email is mysterydatepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on socials at mysterydatepodcast. Go to our website, mysterydatepodcast.com, where you can find our blog posts or leave us a voice message. Or you can call the Mystery Hotline at 216-770-4881. And your story might just make it on the show.
Also, be sure to share this podcast with your friends or even your enemies. We're not going to judge, and we'll take all the viewers we can get. We appreciate every little bit you guys do to get this show out there. When you like, subscribe, share, comment, whatever you can do to interact with us directly boosts us in the algorithm and gets us in the eyes of more people. And plus, we want to hear from you. So leave us comments answering our date night debrief questions. Leave us comments asking more information about the stories. Is there something we didn't cover that you have itching on the back of the brain after hearing this? Like, wait, what about that? What happened then? Let us know. We want to hear anything from you guys. That's what makes the show interactive and allows us to grow a real family here. So thank you guys so much. We appreciate it.
Skeptics and believers alike, we want your opinions and to know which theories you believe in.
Give us your thoughts.
Give us your souls.
That's all. So be safe and have a great rest of your day or night.
And remember, every good mystery deserves a date. Bye.